his city, that he wanted this so much. It was the vilest, most immoral place to be. And when God's speaking, it says, get out of this place. He goes to sleep. And when the angels say, arise, he lingers. And he's taken his time. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew up upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. One more part that I'd like to tell you about Lot. He's sitting at the gate. Everything that's going on behind him, man, that's not my problem. I'm disgusted by it. I don't want any part of it. I'm going to stay righteous, but I'm not going to engage it. I'm not going to tell them what they need to know about God. He obviously hadn't been telling his sons-in-laws about God, because when he tells them what God's going to do, it's as if they're mocking. I mean, it's just not serious. They're like, well, who are you to tell us what God's going to do? You haven't shown us anything about what God's going to do. There's been no evidence of it. And even when the angels are telling him, get out, get your family, get out of here. And he's just lingering, taking his time, not realizing the importance of it, to the point when the angels have to grab them by their hands and pull them out of the city and say, get out of here. How serious was it to him? You would think the encounter that he has had with these angels and the urgency that they are speaking, and when they come up and they say, do not look behind, don't look back. He should have taken his wife. As a spiritual leader in the home, men, are you protecting your wives? Are you seeing to it that they are doing the things that are spiritual? Are you challenging them to walk with the Lord and to be obedient to his word and to walk humbly with him in obedience, acknowledging that he is God? Lot should have gotten a hold of her and saying all along the way, don't look back, honey, don't look back, don't look back, we're going to just keep going, we're going to keep going. She looked back. She said, wow. That's the last thing she could have said. There's no more words to speak. And here Lot, again, is going to see God is powerful. Will he learn? And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters with him. For he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. Where do you suppose they're getting this idea? Why would they be thinking that the whole world has been destroyed, that there'd be no man? All they're looking at is where they were from, this little area that they're talking about, Sodom. Okay, even Gomorrah for that matter. And they knew that it had been destroyed by God. Remember, they knew it had been destroyed by who? By God. that God had destroyed it. Why did God destroy it? Because judgment had come down because of the sexual immorality that the whole city was involved in. If Lot was the spiritual leader of his home, his daughters would have known that they need to be right with God. His daughters would have known the seriousness of following after God, and they would have been obedient. But what do the moment they get out of there? Come, let us make our father drink wine. Let's get him drunk, and we'll lie with him. We'll have sex with him, that we may preserve seed of our father, that we might have children. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. He was drunk out of his mind. She had sex with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in, and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. Incest, sex with their father? Really? They're a byproduct of the culture that they lived in. They were heavily influenced by the culture. Lot was not out there influencing the culture. He was allowing it to influence him. Lot was not influencing his wife to be a follower of God. Lot did not influence the daughters to follow after God, or to follow after his example even, at the very least. He had no influence on them whatsoever. He allowed himself to get drunk. He realizes that there's a city that he wanted this area so badly because it was so beautiful, and God destroyed it, took it from him. I mean, just totally destroyed it with fire and brimstone. He took it. And Lot is indifferent. Just as he was in the city, sitting at the gate instead of engaging those people, doing the things he shouldn't be doing. He's not involved in a sexual sin. He didn't do that. He believed in God, but he was not. He was, just like many of you listening right now, not engaging the culture. Just kind of looking and saying, wow, I see a lot of stuff going on, but that's not my problem. I'll let God deal with it. You see what happened when God dealt with it? Wouldn't it be better to just deal with it one person at a time and say, let's make a change. Let's change this culture that we're in, one person at a time. Let's bring one person to Christ today. People are dying every day. One person at a time. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger she also bare a son, and called his name Benami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. The prophet Amos spoke to the Moabite people in the book of Amos, chapter 4. And in Amos chapter 4, it goes on to talk about, you know what, I did this for you, and you did not return to me. I did this to you over here, and you did not return to me. I brought rain to this one section here, this one city, but I didn't bring it over here, and you still didn't return to me. I even went so far as to bring rain to this one section of land, and not to the land right next to it, and you still didn't return to me. He's going over and over and over again, saying, I did this for you. I did this to you. I did this for you. I did this so that you can see who I am. Jesus is Lord. And he says, I wanted to do it so that you would know that I am God. and they never returned to him. The Muslims come out of the Moabites, the Ammonites, the ones who hate God, the ones who hate the God of the Bible, the ones who definitely hate Jesus Christ. They do not know him. They never have known him. Definitely never have accepted him as Lord. But in the book of Amos, it finally comes down after having all these warnings and all of these things that are happening. He finally comes out and says, "Prepare to meet thy God, O Israel." Are you really ready to have that statement said to you? How much are you wasting your time? How much are you taking your time and just saying, you know what, I see this happening in my life, but God must really have something going against me. Why is God picking on me? And yet you get mad at God, you get angry, and you yell at God, and you do not follow him, but you turn more towards the ways of the world. Prepare to meet thy God, O Israel. Do you want that to be said to you? Prepare to meet the Lord your God. Will you face him as judge, or will you face him as Savior? Jesus is Lord. I pray that each and every one of you will face him as Savior. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, get that pulled up for you here. And it's going to be verses 14 to 16. Here's what it says. "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." You are to be the light of the world. You are to be the one that shows Jesus Christ to the lost and dying world. Are you doing that? Or are you just sitting at the gate? You just sit at the gate of your city doing absolutely nothing. I pray that each one of you are taking it seriously of what it means to follow Christ, that you engage the people around you, and that you bring people to a knowledge of Christ. Those who are living in their sin, I do pray that you just take the time and talk to them with a loving heart, not a condemning, not a "I'm better than you" type attitude, holier than thou. We all fall short of the glory of God. Are we sharing that with people? Do people understand that to be a Christian does not mean we're better than people? It just means that we're forgiven. And we have a joy, unspeakable joy. What kind of love do you have? If you truly love God, don't sit at the gate. Talk to someone and tell them about the wonderful good news of Jesus Christ dying on the cross for them. That they no longer have to be a slave to sin. That they can have a newness of life. The heart of stone will be replaced by a heart of flesh. That God will mold that heart to be different than it's ever been before in their life. They'll no longer desire the things of the flesh, but they'll desire the things of the Spirit, and they will walk humbly with him, giving him all the praise and all the glory. And I pray that is the person that you become today. May you give your life to him as we thank him for who he is. Jesus is Lord.